We have some breaking news. One of the best players to ever play in the NFL has retired. Aaron Donald has officially announced he will be stepping away from the league. And it's a pretty crazy day. And obviously, this is directly related to the Rams. But of course, because the Rams are in division and the 49ers have played against Aaron Donald 2 to 3 games a year for his entire career. We know Aaron Donald very well, so this is an impact to the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, when you see Aaron Donald and what he has done in this league, it has been absolutely legendary. And although we've had, some beef back and forth with Aaron Donald, given he is a Ram, he deserves all the respect in the world for how he's played. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is a walking legend when it comes to being a trench player. Um, we've had a lot of fun with Aaron Donald. I think back to the Daddy Brunskill stuff where, Dan Brunskill comes in at guard, undrafted free agent, converted tight end, making pennies on the dollar, and just comes in and dominates Aaron Donald every single time they played. But it's the only guy who had Aaron Donald's number. That's it. There is really no one else in the league who could touch like Aaron Donald in the sense of just being able to go toe to toe with him consistently than Daniel Brunskill. It was one of the most fascinating developments I have ever seen. It was one of my all-time favorite bits on my platforms. The whole Daddy B stuff with Aaron Donald, it was phenomenal. It was one of my favorite things ever. Because I am a trench player myself, and this is me giving respect to Aaron Donald, for being a former center. This was a guy that I really liked coming out of the draft. He was a very polarizing draft prospect because he was 6'1", 280 pounds. When you see interior defensive linemen being 6'1", 280, you're not like, oh yeah, this guy's just going to come in and dominate. All anyone could ever talk about with Aaron Donald was that he was going to be a bust. He's too small. He's not big enough, doesn't have long enough arms. It's not going to work. He's going to get dominated at the NFL level. That's why he went 13th overall. And you might be asking yourself, well, 13th overall, that's still pretty high first round draft pick. This guy should have been a top 3 pick. Like coming out of his class, he was that dominant. But the reason why he went 13 is because he was knocked for his size. He was knocked for how big he was. And like I was talking about, being a former center myself, I played against 2 people in college that were very similarly built to Aaron Donald. Both of them had big time pro potential. And so when I stopped playing college, just getting done playing against 2 of these guys, one of them was a former, top 100 All-American coming out of high school. The other one was the best player on his high school team at Monta Vista, which included players like Zach Ertz and Ryan Whalen, and these guys all played in the NFL. So I played with 2 defensive tackles, very similar in stature, 6'1", 6'2", 290, kind of in that realm. And these guys just dominated with first step quickness, smarts, power, leverage, strength. So when everyone was knocking Aaron Donald, I'm like, you guys are tripping. Speaking on firsthand experience of playing center and guard and going up against these guys, I would much prefer going up against a 6'5", 330 guy. It's much easier for me to be able to get into their pads, generate leverage, and generate push on larger humans than it is with these guys. These guys are freaks. The 6'1", 290s that can maintain leverage and strength. I mean, look at the San Francisco 49ers moves that they have made. All the defensive linemen that they have signed are like 6'1". I think people have this idea in their head that you have to be 6'6", 320 as a defensive lineman to be able to dominate. And that's just not the case. And so I spent a lot of time advocating for this guy. Believe it or not, a lot of people doubted him coming out of Pitt. A lot of talk, a lot of yapping, a lot of, oh, he's too small, right? That's what you hear around this time. He was an exception. And for me, as an evaluator, I'm always trying to find the exception. To me, I've heard it explained by other former NFL GMs that they're not trying to find the exception. They're trying to find this mold, this prototypical mold of guys, and he wouldn't have fit. And teams passed on him because he didn't fit that prototypical mold. And that's how you miss on Hall of Fame players. Because guess what? You can look like Tarzan, but play like Jane. And at the end of the day, it's about finding talented football players, what other size, shape they are. So for me, although I couldn't stand Aaron Donald being in our division because he would dominate consistently, and of course, he was a polarizing player. He'd get in beef and fights with Quentin Patton, grab him in the back of the neck, and all those different types of things. He's a phenomenal player, and he's one of my all-time favorite draft hits because they're these guys that you develop a strong sense of success for when you're evaluating prospects, and you're going to get met with opposition. You're going to be met with people telling you you're stupid because you think a 6'1", 280-pound defensive tackle is going to dominate. So after doing that for months, you start to root for the guy. You start to have a very, very big rooting interest in them having success. Now, obviously, being a Niner fan wasn't great that he landed with the Rams, but from an evaluation standpoint, I felt very validated. And the battles that I fought on these Twitter streets, arguing with all these casuals, just looking at how big he is and saying he was going to be a bust because of that. So, what an amazing career. What an amazing career that Aaron Donald has had. And again, that has nothing to do with me. That was all on him. That's all him. He is a truly, truly elite player. And to do it at his size, 6'1", 280, might even be 6 feet. I don't even know if he's 6'1". To be able to do it at his size, to dominate in the trenches at his size is just, again, a testament to not passing on exceptions because they don't fit your mold of what you think a good player should look like. Don't ever pass on a player because he doesn't look how you think a great player should look. There's so many examples of this across the history of the NFL. So I'm very happy that he's retiring, that the 49ers don't have to deal with this anymore. But again, what a great career. What a phenomenal player. Legendary. Absolutely legendary. So on this day where he retires, all I can do is give him nothing but respect. Aaron Donald is I think also helped kind of change the perception of defensive tackles as well, in regards to how to win and what you need to look like to be successful. So this guy is built different, and he's going to walk into Canton. So let me know what you guys think about Aaron Donald retiring. Drop it in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.